Hi, it's Susana Medina. I'm going to be reading the ever-present J.G. Ballard, The Drowned World. And I've got a timer here, so it'll be 5 minutes. He had commandeered the reeds the day after their arrival, eager to exchange his crown cabin among the lavatory benches at the testing station for the huge, high-ceilinged staterooms of the deserted hotel. Already, he accepted the lavish brocaded furniture and the bronze Art Nouveau statuary in the corridor niches as natural background to his existence, savouring the subtle atmosphere of melancholy that surrounded these last vestiges of a level of civilization now virtually vanished forever. Too many of the other buildings around the lagoon had long since slipped and slid away below the silt, revealing their gimcrack origins, and the reeds now stood in splendid isolation on the west shore, even the rich blue moss sprouting from the carpets in the dark corridors, adding to its 19th century dignity. The bulk of the city had long since vanished, and only the steel supported buildings of the central commercial and financial areas had survived the encroaching floodwaters. The brick houses and single-story factories of the suburbs had disappeared completely below the drifting tides of silt. Where this broke surface, giant forests reared up into the burning dull green sky, smothering the former wheat fields of temperate Europe and North America. Impenetrable Mato Grossos, sometimes 300 feet high, they were a nightmare world of competing organic forms returning rapidly to the Paleolithic past, and the only avenues of transit for the United Nations military units were through the lagoon systems that had superimposed themselves on the former cities. But even these were now being clogged with silt and then submerged. Perhaps it was this absence of personal memories that made Kerrans indifferent to the spectacle of these sinking civilizations. He had been born and brought up entirely within what had once been known as the Arctic Circle, now a subtropical zone with an annual mean temperature of 85 degrees. The vast swamps and jungles had been a fabulous laboratory. The submerged cities little more than elaborate pedestals. Apart from a few older men, such as Vodkin, there was no one who remembered living in them. And even during Vodkin's childhood, the cities had been beleaguered citadels, hemmed in by enormous dikes and disintegrated by panic and despair. Reluctant Venices to their marriage with the sea. Their charm and beauty lay precisely in their emptiness, in the strange junction of two extremes of nature, like a discarded crown overgrown by wild orchids. During the next 30 years, the poleward migration of populations continued. A few fortified cities defied the rising water levels and the encroaching jungles, building elaborate seawalls around the perimeters. But one by one, these were breached. Only within the former Arctic and Antarctic circles was life tolerable. The birth of a child had become a comparative rarity, and only one marriage in 10 yielded any offspring. As Karen sometimes reminded himself, the genealogical tree of mankind was systematically pruning itself, apparently moving backwards in time. And a point might ultimately be reached where second Adam and Eve found themselves alone in a new Eden.